take a hold of the club, there's where the is pushing and accelerating. Wrist is the strongest. It wants to hit this way. All right, now we're talking about consistency or face control. How you put your hands on the club again. Let's say you're struggling with the ball. Let's say it's hooking way to the left. Here's probably what's going on. When you put your hands on, very possibly your left hand, I know this sounds crazy, your lead hand is probably too weak, and this hand is getting turned under too far. And so what's happening is then as you come into the ball, this hand's instinct is to get on the back of the shaft to push the shaft. Well, if I put my hand under here too far, and then all of a sudden this hand as I come into the ball tries to line up where it can compress the ball, then what happens to the face? The face gets really shut. So what's interesting, if you tend to hook the ball, most people keep trying to weaken and weaken their left hand grip. No. You probably need to strengthen your left hand grip and bring your right hand a little more on top so your right hand can push. Because relative to hitting hooks, and I spent my whole career where I fought a pull hook. Well, the reason I fought a pull hook is because when I came into the ball, my right hand had to do this. It had to twist because I had the club face coming in open like this. That's what everybody taught me. And then I had to rotate my forearms. So what would happen is when I would rotate too soon, I would hook it. What was interesting is as a kid, I had a fairly strong grip, which is what they said, but my right hand, I went back and I hit it like this and my right arm worked this way. So it did very little rotation. Guess what I didn't do? I didn't pull hook it. Okay, so those of you who fight a pull hook or a hook, it's usually because this hand gets too weak and this one gets turned underneath too far and it starts doing this stuff, okay? So actually, if you're hooking it, one very good way to fix it is strengthen your left and bring your right hand a little more on top. Now, if you're slicing the ball, I can almost guarantee you that the club is sitting too much in the palm of your hand and your lead hand is in what they call a neutral palms opposing position. So what happens when I do that and I swing the club and the club pulls on my arms and my arms straighten out, when these joints line up the way they're designed, all of a sudden, where's the face? It's wide open. And then what you start trying to do is you start trying to use this shoulder and this arm to try to catch the face up. Well, now what are you? Now you're over the top with the club face wide open. So for those of you that slice the ball or struggle with the ball going to the right, for sure you want to take this lead hand, make sure it's in your fingertips, and get this hand turned over where you feel like, you almost feel like you're chopping something. You see what I'm doing here? So when I hit, my palm is facing down towards my left foot. I'm not trying to get my left wrist to face at the target. So you're right here. And then your right hand comes in and your right palm is pushing the shaft through the ball. It's pushing. So my right arm pushes and then my right wrist releases or throws or whatever you want to call that. So this is what my right arm's doing. But it's a function of this. So back to if you're hooking the ball, most people, the face gets too shut mainly because this hand gets too far open. If you're slicing the ball or you lose it to the right, it's usually because this hand's off and it's not on there in a position where when the club pulls on your arm, the club face comes back to square. That's one of the biggest things that hurt me as a player and that has helped me through my instruction and through the later part of my career. As soon as I put my hands on the club, as soon as I understand joint alignments, and I understood how those levers worked, all of a sudden hitting the ball fairly straight wasn't that hard to do. Unfortunately, my career was basically over because everybody had told me, neutral palms opposing grip, rotate your forearms, hold the angle, rotate your forearms. There's so much rotation and timing in that, it's very, very difficult to be consistent with that. So whether it's speed or consistency, look to your grip first.